Hello, this is tutorial number 1 of 4 that we are going to be going through regarding Metahuman customization. And today we are going to tackle the simplest one, which is customizing our Metahuman with an asset that is compatible with UE5 Skeleton. So as it says here, it is the easiest one. We simply need to set the leader pose component within the blueprint, make the skeleton compatible with the Metahuman skeleton, so we get control rig usage. And LODSync helps a lot. Sync to the rove and the hood in this particular case, and it's going to retain the original simulation. So let's take a look at how that looks in play. It is this sequencer here, and then if we hit play and at the same time we simulate our cloth, because remember, cloth only simulates, you can see that it's perfectly skinned to the Metahuman, and the simulation in the cloth is also running. You can see that the original is right here to the left, and then the one that we applied to the Metahuman is here on the right. So let's do this from scratch, or let's reverse engineer what I did here in the Metahuman. Let's stop simulation and let Unreal jiggle itself a little bit awake. Let's see if we got it fixed now, and let's fix it manually. If we do this, there we go, Unreal things, and move it there. So let's click on that blueprint and let's reverse engineer a little bit of what I did here, which is again super simple. Let's bring it over. So in the event graph, nothing. I left everything as is. This is the blueprint for a common metahuman. Let's go into the viewport and let's see what we're looking at. So literally the common metahuman. This is my identity, so it's one that looks roughly like me. So what I did was I left the body, because we do need to be using the body in this case to run everything else. It makes our life easier. In a situation in which we don't want the hands to be showing or anything else to be showing, it would be as simple as creating an invisible material with no opacity. We cannot disable visibility of the body because if we do, the control rig will not show. So what we want to do here is under the body, create two new skeletal meshes, which are going to be, in this case, our hood and our robe. I simply plus icon, skeletal. Let's actually make a new robe. So we are going to simply remove this robe here, and we're going to create a new one. So this skeletal mesh, again, needs to be a children of the body. We are going to call this robe 2 or something like that. And from here, I'm going to pick a robe that I might find from an asset pack that I have here. So let's look at maybe chest light T1 red, this one. Okay, and we see that we get this behavior right now. There's nothing happening. This doesn't seem to be attaching correctly. Even if we compile, nothing is going to happen. Actually, probably going to scream that we're missing something. So how do we fix this, or what do we need to do for this to work? Well, we need to come to the construction script, double click to open it. And in here, at the very beginning, we wire it out to a new node called set leader pose component. And as you can see, it is currently working with a new leader. The leader is going to be the body. As we said, we are going to leave the body in because we do need it. That's the face, that's not the body. We need it, and it's also going to be running the control rig. And then in the construction script, what we need to tell the engine is that this body is going to be the leader for both the hood, and I'm going to simply drag and drop the robe. So now if I compile and save, we'll see that the robe is now perfectly attached to our metahuman. Now in this case, we can clearly see a couple of problems, meaning that this robe was a bit closer to the chest. That means that our torso here is actually creating issues. Now at this point is where we need to start playing with our blueprint and making sure that we only leave what we want within the blueprint. We could come in into the skeletal mesh, creating a copy first, obviously, and sculpting in these parts so we don't see them, or even deleting the faces if we, for whatever reason, want to keep the sleeves. So we could go on and do that. We are not going to do that right now. I am just simply going to showcase that this effectively works. So compile, save. Again, the only thing we did was set leader pose component and adding it the new component. We could come in into the LODSync and make sure that the robe and the hood are in the LODSync bar settings. down here. There we go. That's more like it. So components to sync, we probably want to add here. I added at the bottom the index 11 and 12. These are the row. In this case, it would be 2 and the row hood on the hood. And set them to drive. It's the same thing. Everything else is being run by on the Skeletal Meshes. Everything else is passive. I'm doing this just because I experienced some issues with the simulation in LOD switch. So just do that. And now that we have this, again, obviously with the little issue that we have there, if we now run the body replacement, since it's the exact same thing that I just did, this works. And if we run the simulation, we are going to see that the sim is working effectively fine. And one last thing we want to try to confirm that everything is working as intended. If we come in and check our metahuman here, our new metahuman, I am going to be adding to the body, because remember the body is our new leader, a layer control rig, and we are going to use the metahuman control rig. And since everything is working as intended, if we come in here, press the G key, and now test any of the bones, oops, specifically not that one, that does nothing, we can clearly see that it is moving perfectly fine, and it is in fact skinned to the metahuman body mesh. That means that it is working in tandem with the metahuman control rig. The hood is doing the same thing. So this is great. Again, this is the easiest of all the paths we are going to go through in this set of tutorials. A UE5 skeleton, it's simply set leader pose component. And we want to make the skeleton compatible at some points to use the control rig. Sometimes it just works, sometimes it doesn't. How do we make a skeleton compatible? In this case, we need to go and check what skeleton our guy here is using. Let's switch to selection mode so we can click on it. Let's go into the editing of the blueprint. We are going to go into the viewport, and as soon as we find this guy, we can double click on it and open it up. And we know that this is the skeleton this guy is using. It's a mimic of Queen's skeleton. So simply to make a skeleton compatible with another one, if you see that the metahuman rig is not working, we are going to go to Window, Asset Details, and then in the new window that populates, we are simply, this one is even, it's not even compatible, so sometimes it works from the get-go. It's compatible with Echo, but it's not compatible with metahumans. In this case, compatible skeletons. We add a new one to the array and simply choose metahuman-based skeleton. That would make it compatible. If you see that your control rig is not working and every other step looks like you did it correctly, that's perfect. One last step, since we are here and I said that the simulation for the cloth is effectively working, we need to come into Window, Clothing, and in here is where we are going to check that the sim is working. If we activate Cloth Paint and we click on this one, we see that this is effectively working. We are going to talk more about this in a following tutorial where we need to redo this, but this is working from the get-go. It's taking the simulation from the previous mesh, and it's working perfectly fine with our new metahuman body. This is its own skeleton, but since it's following our old skeleton, again, this is working perfectly fine. And if we go here and we remove our layer control rig, and we got a bit of a hiccup on the animation. There we go. It works. And we have simulation. So that's step one. We are going to take a look at step two in the next video.